Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to catch us on our other shows, The Friday Fix at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and our Sunday Town Hall show here every Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Hello, Wesley. How are you today?
I'm good, man. It's just been a very long night, dealing with the whole Shedora Sanders ordeal, and just a bunch of other stuff, too. Just, watching America kind of crumble in front of our eyes, man.
Yeah. Slow and painful.
Like we said, it was not like what we used to know as America. So,
Yeah. And as we know, America has history. Well, some of us do. Trump administration starts removing Black History Museum exhibits, including iconic 1960s Woolworth's sit-in counter. The Trump administration began returning historical artifacts to their owners and quietly removing key exhibits from the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. Journalist April Ryan from Black Press USA reported that one of the first major removals included the original Woolworth's lunch counter from 1960s Greensboro, North Carolina sit-in, a pivotal civil rights moment. The counter and its surrounding exhibits highlighted the bravery of 4 Black college students from North Carolina A&T who peacefully protested segregation by sitting at a white-only counter. Their actions ignited a wave of similar protests across the South and became a turning point in the fight for racial equality. The decision to move to reshape how American history is presented, according to the Trump administration, the decision is a move to reshape how American history is presented, according to the Trump administration. Attorney Lindsey Helgam, a Trump ally working in Washington, is reportedly leading the charge. According to the Washington Post report, she has been tasked with identifying and eliminating what she calls improper ideology in the Smithsonian Institution. Halligan believes current exhibits place too much emphasis on the country's dark history, which she says could divide the nation further.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with probably the most divisive president of our time. They love to call it Obama. They love to say Obama was a divisive president, but it was really the fact that he was a Black man. And that's what made the divide, a Black man becoming president, rather than the person who says that immigrants taint the blood of our nation, speak rapists and murderers, talking negatively about, just kick them son of a bitches out of the league, talking about, Black athletes who stand up for or even kneel for their civil rights, for the rights of others. So this is the most divisive administration president we've ever had in history. He's taken he wants to transform American history. He said they came in, they tamed a wild nation. This is what he said that the Europeans came into America and did. Tamed a wild nation. So we understand what your ideology is. You don't want to teach the true history of America. You want, because you said that it may affect children and how they view themselves. I don't think that what another person did should affect a child upon how they view themselves. What you should be teaching is correct history, because you taught us all kind of history that was a bunch of lies. Now you want to get rid of a table or a lunch counter that was a part of American history.
Well, that's not the only thing they've gotten rid of. If you think about it, they're removing Harriet Tubman's website. They try to get rid of the Tuskegee Airmen. They repealed part of the Civil Rights Act.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're coming for us.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. They want to act, they only want to show what parts of history they want to show. But we were taught history by the conquerors. Like, for me, I remember being in school and our teacher was teaching us one time how, the Europeans had started heading west. Mm-hmm. And they said they were trying to be settlers. They were like, but those pesky natives kept coming in and burning and destroying their homes. And then when they taught it to us, they made it look like the natives were the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I got older, I understood. I'm like, these people came and just took their land.
Yeah.
Which it is. I mean, and we can always go back to it and be like, we're along stolen land. Yeah, it's stolen land. Okay, take it back.
I mean,
do something about it. Hey, this is a pagan holiday. Do something about it. And you're not going to. You know what I'm saying? The dominant force in our country has the power. They run the country, but now they're doubling and tripling down on what they like and what they don't like. And Black history and Black people, I'm sadly to say, we are that dark history to them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If we can't be their entertainment, if they can't kill us when they at will, it's not America to them.
You gotta we have to look at it from perspective of right now they know that the world is changing and there's nothing that they can do about it. That's why they're trying to offer you $5,000 to have babies. That's why they want immigrants out the country, and that's why they're willing to kick out anyone. Even I won't just say immigrants, because right now we're learning that it's also citizens as well. But get to that later. The bigger problem is with this is that what they're saying is, okay, the demographics are about to change. So let's change the narrative now. So when that happens, this isn't looked at as much.
Well, it's that too. And then they're putting themselves in, they said it before, like they know the demographic is changing. So they're going to change the rules and put themselves in power. So they'll be the few, but they'll hold everything. You know what I'm saying?
It's like what they're trying to do is what happened in South Africa. What's happening in South Africa, where it's like I think they're like 5, maybe 10% of the population, somewhere around there, maybe less, somewhere around, but they're a dominant economic force. And that's what, if you look around the world, I was looking at this chart just the other day, and it's like showed all the world's like 10 or 20 richest women. They're all Europeans, whether European Americans or Europeans from Europe. They're all that's all you see on that list. A lot of them were basically either married into the money or born into the money and got it through that way. I'm not saying none of them maybe didn't earn it. I'm not saying that at all. But the point of it is, though, when we look at history, we look at it from they want it to be shown from a side of it to where they can turn Egyptians into Europeans. That's fine. We won't even know the difference between true Egyptians whose noses they lopped off and the ones they show us on television.
Well,
it's just like they want to turn Christ.
Like, I remember I got a book in school one time and it had a white Egyptian on the front. I'm like, that don't even make no sense. When I used to look at the Bible, when I was a kid, I'd read the Bible and even open it up. I'm like, this place is hot. Like, they can't live there.
I mean, it explains exactly what Jesus looked like in the Bible. Hair of wool. You know what I mean? Everything.
Skin of bronze.
Yeah, I mean, it explained exactly, but we still see pictures in black churches. Every church will show you a picture of what blue-eyed, blonde hair, blue-eyed. You know what I mean?
Well, they say because if you put black Jesus up in a black church, black folks won't come no more.
It's crazy.
Colorism is a crazy place. But yeah, I mean, we're going to keep you guys updated on the more removal of our history. Because like I said before on the show, like once you get rid of the history, you got to get rid of the people.
What's next? I mean, we got FBI arrest Milwaukee judge alleging she interfered in immigration operation. The FBI arrested a county judge in Milwaukee on Friday, alleging that she obstructed federal authorities who were seeking to detain an undocumented immigrant by escorting the man and his defense attorney through a non-public jury door. The arrest of Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan marks a significant escalation in Trump's administration's crackdown on immigration, in line with its rhetoric about going after local and state authorities on immigration-related matters. It also marks another step in the Trump administration's battle with judges over federal policy. In an appearance on Fox Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi used the arrest to pull in the administration's broader, repeated criticism of judges. What's happening to our judiciary is beyond me, Bondi said after using the term deranged. Dugan faces charges of obstructing or impeding a proceeding before a department or agency of the United States, as well as charge of concealing an individual to prevent his discovery and arrest. A statement issued on Dugan's behalf indicated she had hired former U.S. Attorney Stephen Buskubik to represent her in the case. Judge Dugan will defend herself vigorously and looks forward to being exonerated, the statement said. Dugan was arrested by the FBI at about 8:30 a.m. local time in the parking lot of the Milwaukee County Courthouse before she entered the building, a senior law enforcement official told NBC News. She was then transferred to the custody of the U.S. Marshals, the official said. Dugan made an appearance before a federal magistrate judge and was released on bond with another court hearing scheduled for May 15. The news of Dugan's arrest broke in a post on X from FBI Director Kash Patel, which he initially deleted, then later reposted. He wrote that the Bureau believed that Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents when the subject to be arrested appeared in Dugan's court on a separate case. Patel said that the agents chased down the perp on foot, but said that Dugan's obstruction created increased danger to the public. Bondi, referencing Dugan on her Fox News appearance on Friday afternoon, said shame on her, that that the type of conduct Dugan allegedly engaged in result in federal prosecutions. I cannot believe I think of some of these judges think that they are beyond or above the law, and they are not. And we're sending a very strong message today. If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are, Bondi said.
So, I mean, which judge is going to prosecute this judge?
It'll just be another, whether it's it'll be a federal court judge because it's a federal case now. They've taken it federal. So I think she's
this is it's not insanity. I was just waiting for it to happen. It was a matter of time because the judges was stopping him, like you've been saying. And so there's a matter of time when they're going to be like, we're just going to get rid of you.
Yeah, they've been talking about, like, I guess this is the second judge that they've arrested.
Yeah.
This is the second judge they've arrested. I mean, when are they going to start arresting the judges for disagreeing with them? Because they're already saying that it's called this an act of sedition and treason. And to me, that's just like, it's kind of like, I know they say the pot calling the kettle black or whatever you want to call it. It's crazy to me for them to use words like this. I'm listening to Pam Bondi, like, you guys are talking about sedition and treason, and the same people who just pardoned 1,600 people or more who tried to run in the Capitol, tried to, we're looking to kill, U.S. representatives, senators, whoever they can get their hands on to try and stop, a transition of power that's been going on in this country for hundreds of years.
Well, check it out. Let's look at it this way. There was almost like 400 or 500 people that tried to run in and stop the transition of power about 3-4 years ago in America. Do you ever hear about that?
Yeah.
You know what they did to those people?
What they do to them?
Nothing. And it's that they committed treason. You tried to overthrow a government, you committed treason. They did nothing to them because of the privilege of who they are. Absolutely. And look what happens. Now they took over your country like they tried to do before, but this way they took it semi-legally, and now their rules apply and yours don't. So they can throw out the word treason because Democrats refuse to do it. Democrats refuse to say it was sedition.
It's like revisionist history, like you just talked about earlier in the segment we just did earlier about them removing the counters from the museum.
Yeah.
They want to revise what history is. So now we have a new set of people who are treasonous, who are doing sedition as well. These guys now, they're trying to change the narrative. They say it's his story. Whoever's in power, like you said, it's their story to tell. And this is what they're doing in this case right here. Do I believe the judge maybe have done something wrong? I don't know. But do I think that them arresting judges now, I think that it marks a very stark point in our history. I'm not saying that a judge should never be arrested, especially if they committed crimes. But I think it marks a very stark point in our history right now that we need to pay attention to. They've already started talking about arresting people for saying the wrong things. Like if you look at where Candace Owens, she just came out talking about, hey, we should be afraid of what the Trump administration is talking about right now. They're talking about basically if you say the wrong thing, if you're speaking the wrong kind of language about the government, they can arrest you for that. You know what I mean? And so I think shows like this right here are very important. Because we're talking the truth. We speak the truth. Whether we give you guys the facts and we give you our opinion of the facts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
we're trying to make you aware of what kind of world you're living in right now. They're arresting federal judges because they don't agree. They don't agree with what they're saying. I mean, where does that end at? You know what I'm saying? Like what happens? I'm telling you, he's lost so much with the Supreme Court. He's going to lose something that's really, sorry, pissing him off. But they're not letting him know most of it. Because once he figures it out, he's going to have them arrested too. This is federal judges. Who are you compared to a federal judge? The judge is who you go in front of. Which judge is going to sit there and be like, throw another judge in jail?
He basically said that he wanted to take away the power. They tried to make a vote. They tried to vote on this. I think the House did vote on this.
Yeah.
Where they can take away the power of the judges, where they can no longer stop him from doing his agenda. This is a part of the Constitution. This is the crazy part about it. I'm not even a big, Constitution, because you guys don't believe in the Constitution. We know you don't. You only want things that are going to benefit you and your people. We know this is the way this country has been for years. That's why you collapse together and call yourself one particular thing that's not even a real thing. That's why you did that. We understand that. But the point of it is, though, if this country is ever going to run the way it's supposed to, if it's going to stay together, we got to have some kind of rules that we go by. And I guess that's the Constitution, right?
No, we're going to have to go by state. In some countries some states decide to.
Won't work that way.
Some's going to have to give. He's going to arrest the wrong person. I guess it won't. No, people won't realize what they've done to each other until American citizens start getting bombed.
Yeah, until it's too late.
And they're going to be like, and they're going to make you think, oh, they're all this and they're all that. Then you're going to see videos of people that you probably know, your family members, fellow Republicans, independents, libertarians, people on the streets dying because we all live amongst each other. You do realize that. Some of you may not live. I mean, we all live amongst each other. It is what it is.
Let me ask you this quick question. When we really kind of look at it from a perspective of he's trying to ease in right now, his whole entire 2028, like it's nothing. That's why we made hats now. They got hats.
I told you, bro, by the time,
but they're trying to make it normalize it. So what?
I told you, halfway through the summer, you're going to see exactly where we are. Like they came out running and gunning. They're getting a little resistance right now. What's about to be May, January, March, April, May, June, July, August. 3 months. I'll give August 2nd. Mark my words, folks. August 2nd, you're going to realize how deep of the shit we're in. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying it the whole time. I'm like, they're going to let you know. Look, you can only resist so much, and they can change all the laws while you're trying to resist it.
No, and like I said, I agree. It's just to me, man, just looking at this, where this is heading right now, where we're heading as a country, if we don't stand up and start to resist and fight,
it's too late.
Pretty much, it's
too late. It's over. The only thing we can do is try to
1930s Germany
buckle down, and hopefully he passes away.
It ain't gonna matter. Somebody else.
It wouldn't matter. JD Vance is great. They said a conspiracy about JD Vance. How everybody he went to go see the Pope. The next day the Pope died, and the day before, and the time for that he went to go see somebody else, and that person died. Then he went somewhere else. He went to Pakistan, and now they're at war.
So he's knocking people off.
He's like something's going on every time he goes somewhere. Some crazy stuff happens with JD Vance.
I don't like I say with JD Vance. I don't like him too much. I think he's a Manchurian candidate. When I look at him, I look at where his rise came from, the stuff he talked about, who's behind him, and who's behind Trump right now. Like we have to Peter Thiel. We got to start looking into those names. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. These guys are all part of the same system. They're all part of that South African, German, Nazi kind of.
Well, I mean, that's what happens. See, in America, they never really finished anything off, right? So think about this. They went and fought the Nazis, right? Did they kill Adolf? No, we have record now to saying he lived his life happily in Argentina.
That's what they're saying.
You know what I'm saying? And they took the German scientists and brought them over to America and used them. They never really destroyed the Nazi stuff. They let us sit there and fester, just like the slaves. They had a chance to kill us all. They just couldn't do it.
You remember when we were in Colombia and they talked about Pablo, how they said that Pablo killed himself on that roof.
Yeah.
That it wasn't actually the officer who killed him. The officer came out, I guess, later on and admitted to not killing him and just wanted to reward money, right? And so this is what it tells. This is history is really a story that we are told. We don't know any of this stuff. We don't know what's really happening.
Well, think about it. Remember being a kid, they told you Paul Revere was the one that was going, saying the British. It wasn't even him. It was his homeboy. His homeboy did it. He just didn't get the credit.
He didn't get the credit for it. And that's kind of how the world works for us. I think that what they're trying to do right now is take away what we're going through right here. They're taking away history and they're taking away our norms. And our norms right here is being able to have a judge with compassion on the bench. I mean, they're coming in here. Basically, people are going to their like either their appointments or their hearings, and they're being arrested at their appointments and their hearings. They're actually doing they're taking the due process that's put in front of them, and they're doing the right thing.
And people are acting like they don't care because to them they don't look like you, right? But they're snatching citizens up now and deporting them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's all going to take for you to say something off wall. You won't even have to say nothing about the administration. You can say something about one of his donors. You can start because they're trying to bust unions. What if you started, hey, I want to, start a union against Walmart. And Walmart's like, yo, this guy Doug Peterson's acting a little crazy.
Sedition,
they hit
treason.
You with something crazy, send your ass to El Salvador.
Send you to El Salvador and you stuck there because dude ain't bringing you back. People like, oh, the guy, I was seeing this guy say some stupid stuff. He was like, well, they won't even let him release him from prison in El Salvador. Why do you think we should take him? I'm like, you know why they won't release him? Because it would look bad if they did.
No, the Trump administration is telling them. They went down and they said, do not let him out. His homeboy's like, I'd let him go. But Trump's telling me he's paying me not to.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact of the matter is he's paying you. Basically, you're trying to give away all the prisoners that we sent to you back to Venezuela for a prisoner swap with Maduro. He told you no. This is what the truth is right here. It was the actual thing where dude from El Salvador didn't even care about the people who they got from Venezuela. He was trying to trade them over to Venezuela for a prisoner swap for his people back. So was this a deal that was pre-made with Trump to take these people and do this and make us, you know what I mean? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Are they really criminals? I'm not going to say that they're great people. They got, they're tattooed up. They look like they look. Who knows? They may have committed crimes. I don't know. You know what I mean? Crossing the border is a crime, I guess, illegally, but it's not a crime. It's more of it's a civil matter. But back to the fact of the matter is, at hand, we're starting to lose our norms, and it's becoming normal. And that's a scary thing right there.
It's a new norm. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world. And speaking of dog-eat-dog world, Sanders denied federal assistance for tornado damage. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders asked President Donald Trump to reconsider a decision not to award the state emergency disaster funds. Sanders declared a state of emergency after tornadoes hit counties all across Arkansas in March. The request was initially denied. The governor submitted a repeal on April 18, saying the state was in dire need of federal assistance. Now, hold on. Stay with me, folks. And it says, and then additional counties affected by February's flooding denied FEMA assistance. Today, Governor Abby Basher announced that the Federal Emergency Management Agency has denied public assistance for 2 counties, and individual assistance for 6 counties affected by flooding in February has been denied. In a letter to the governor, FEMA wrote, based on the results of the joint preliminary damage assessment, it has been determined that the impact of the individuals and households in Butler, Franklin, Knox, Laurel, Lawrence, and Whitney counties is not the severity and magnitude to warrant the designation under the individual assistance program. The FEMA letter also stated, in addition, it has been determined that the impact of the infrastructure in Simpson and Woodford counties is not of the severity and magnitude to warrant these designations under the public assistance program. Now, stay with me, folks. Hold on. And then the Trump administration has ended the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Community BRIC program, canceling about $882 million in funds for resilience projects nationwide. It also denied Washington's request for $34 million in disaster aid following the bomb cyclone. Critics claim the denial is consistent with the administration's border refusal to provide federal disaster aids to states led by Democrats. Now, they're saying Democrats, but I did Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Arkansas.
People don't understand. When these disasters hit, that FEMA helps, all right? Now, you have to understand, we're getting rid of all that little thing that helps us be Americans. That should let you pump your chest up and be like, you know what? Even if I falter in life, even if some natural disaster that happens by the Lord God up there to teach everyone a lesson, my country will take care of me because we have these programs to be there. They're denying that to people. Even North Carolina recently, that just had all that flooding from that, they just got denied federal FEMA fund. You know what I'm saying? All these, their federal aid stuff, they're taking it away from the state.
Crying about like, oh, FEMA wasn't helping North Carolina, this, that, and third. What they're doing now is trying to pretend to inflate figures what they saved so they can go get their tax cuts. This is about tax cuts. This has nothing to do with anything else. They're like, you know what? We need to keep our numbers low right here so we can look like we're saving you money. So when I come in for my tax cuts, when I come in for my trillions,
it doesn't hit you as hard.
I mean, it doesn't hit you hard. You're just like, oh, they saved us a bunch of money over here on our car insurance. You know what I mean?
And all the money
really didn't save you anything.
They're not giving it back to us. You know what I'm saying? You're acting like, as soon as they take your tax money, it's bad enough you get tax when you get the money, you get tax when you spend the money, right? It's bad enough there, but they're not even saving it for us. It's for them. Look at all this money we're going to give to ourselves. That's why they're cutting everything. It's not for us. If it was for all these programs that they're cutting was for us. That's what our tax money went to. It was for us. This is not for us. This is for them to keep the money to themselves, and they watch you suffer.
You look at where Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she used to work for him. She was, I think he was press secretary, White House press secretary for some time. I guess this is her F around and find out moment, like people like to say right now. Your state needs help right now, and your state's not important. Honestly, your state probably doesn't even pay into the federal government tax.
Tax sir, every state in America is important.
No, I didn't say it wasn't important.
I know what you're saying, but I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying, this is not me saying this state is not important. I am an America first person when it comes to taking care of the state's FEMA, everything of that nature. I'm just letting you know, the fact of the matter is you guys tend to vote with this guy. He's showing you who doesn't matter. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about your state. He doesn't care about what's going on with you. You could have voted for me. I don't care. I'm saving this money for me and my cohorts over here, my billionaire buddies. That's what I'm saving this for.
I can't give the money to you. Then I got to give it to everybody. Yeah. Everyone's going to say something.
You know what I mean?
And the thing about her state, they don't, I don't know if Arkansas even has money like that.
They don't.
To rebuild their own infrastructure.
Arkansas, Mississippi, these are people with some of the poorest outcomes in education, healthcare, some of the lowest, Step it up. Some of the lowest like rates of pay per year for an individual in these states right here. Some of the worst, like, and like even water consumption in the states is like a lot of it's like contaminated. It's just a lot of bad things. I'm not trying to say Arkansas is a bad state. It's not. It's just in poor conditions right now. Arkansas is one of them states where they're looking at, I think, putting 10 commandments in the
on the schools.
In schools.
I know Oklahoma's doing it.
Yeah, one of them. I mean, it's just they blend to me. And I know that sucks. They just kind of do. Those states kind of blend in a little bit, and they probably should start looking and saying, you know what? Maybe we should start caring a little bit more about other people, because other people actually care about you.
Oh, no. This is what they're gonna have to do. They're going to have to be like, well, we're going to have to do something here, because if they're not going to give us the money, we're going to have to get it from somewhere else. So you're going to have to get it out your own state. So now they're actually going to have to build up their infrastructure. Either you're going to build up or you're going to crumble, because they're already letting you know they're not helping you. So, I mean, you're going to keep getting hit. You're going to keep getting hit with storms. The storms ain't stopping it, but whoa, Arkansas ain't got no money. Come on, Tennessee. The storm's not going to change for you. You know what I'm saying? So either you're going to falter and that's going to become prime real estate for some rich dude that's going to be able to buy it up, or, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have to get it together.
And I don't see these states really being able to pull their own weight anytime soon. There's not a lot you can change. We're going to do tax your people more. That's all you can pretty much do. And you understand these people are some of the poorest in the country. That's just what it is. There's not much you can get from them.
Got by that Republican privilege. Now it's gone.
Trump asserts trade talks with China are underway after Beijing denies any ongoing negotiations. U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday refuted China's claims that there were no ongoing trade discussions between Beijing and Washington. They had a meeting this morning. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had a meeting this morning, and we've been meeting with China, Trump told reporters. The statement followed China's denial of any talks with the U.S. and calls for abolishing unilateral tariff measures for resolving trade issues. At present, there are absolutely no negotiations on the economy and trade between China and the U.S. Ministry of Commerce spokesperson He Yandong told reporters in Mandarin, translated by CNBC. He added that all sayings regarding progress on bilateral talks should be dismissed. If the U.S. really wants to resolve the problem, it should cancel all the unilateral measures on China, he said. Trump and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent this week indicated that there could be an easing in tensions with China. The White House earlier this month added 145% tariffs on Chinese goods, to which Beijing responded with duties of its own and increased restrictions on critical minerals exports to the U.S. The Commerce Ministry comments echoed those of Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Gu Jikun, who said on Thursday afternoon that there were no ongoing talks, according to state media. Both spokespersons held to the official line that China would be willing to talk to the U.S. subject to Beijing being treated as an equal. China definitely wants to see the trade war de-escalate as it hurts both economies, said Yu Su, principal economist China at the Economist Intelligence Unit. However, due to the inconsistency of Trump's policies and the lack of clarity around what he actually wants, China's strategy has shifted from focus on what you need to what I need. The request for the U.S. to cancel unilateral tariffs reflects that shift.
You know what? Like, he did this to China last time, right? And then they had time to prepare for it if he tried to do it again. And so, basically they stopped the rare earth minerals coming over. You know what I'm saying? And then, people are getting nervous now because they're like, well, we got our holiday shopping coming from. We have a lot of stuff that comes from China, a lot of stuff. And China can take the hit. They can take the hit. Americans ain't felt no pressure like that. China's, I've seen people starve people starve on the streets here in America too, but I mean, he went around, he tried to bully everybody, and China said, you know what? Let's play this game. Because a lot of countries said this too, or China said this about Trump. They're like, look, you have to stand up to a person like this, because if you fall for it now, he's just going to come back and try to do it to you again.
Tries to be a bully. I mean, you got to look at, there's also the fact that we're China's largest trading partner by far. We're like 300, like we're like 600 and something $billion we do a year in trade with China or something of that nature. And I think the next one's like 300 and something billion. So we're double almost the next.
Yeah.
So it would hurt the Chinese economy immensely. You're not going to be able to shift that around somewhere else, or you already would have. That's not saying a person's not like going to be like, oh, well, we're just going to give you everything, and they would just make more. There's a lot of Chinese people who need jobs. They would just made more product and shipped it to these other economies. So if you take off your largest, buyer, it's going to hurt your economy. And they're already going through a lot. We just witnessed them go through a huge housing crisis, a huge bubble that almost took down their whole entire stock market. So it would definitely hurt. However, I think that they're more probably set up to take the pain than what Americans are.
That's what I'm saying. They're more set up to take it because they've been taking it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For us, we get a little ripple. Think about how crazy we went. We couldn't get toilet paper. And that was just made up. We were just acting like there was a shortage on toilet paper. So everybody was buying it up. Imagine when you start going to you go to the store and the shelves are empty, like they were before. Like I think he picked on the wrong person this time. You know what I'm saying? Like
they
hopefully,
were ready.
They could stretch. Think about trying to stretch it out for 2 months, 3 months.
But nothing right now. We're not seeing the effects of it. I think that's why he's.
No, we're not seeing it yet.
He's trying to get to a point where he's like, "Hey,
it won't be
instant.
What? Think about all the back. You got so much stuff on backlog already, sitting there at the ports, waiting in back of buildings. No, we're not seeing nothing yet. We saw the eggs because that's in our face. But when stuff stops coming from China, like little things, you know what I'm saying? Like candles you buy or knitting
T-shirts.
stuff.
I mean, shirts. There's so much stuff. Like we sit back and we can look at it and think it's small things, but it's really all things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really all things
it's
that
a lot
we
of
really
things.
buy from that we really get from China. If you look at turn around most of the things that you have and look where it says made in.
Yeah.
Most of it's gonna
like
say.
I said, my G.I. Joes used to say made in Taiwan, made in Thailand.
You hear the guy, he came out, he's like, you know what? I bet he said, in my house, you know how many things I got made in the US? 0. Now go check in your house. And he just starts laughing about how many things you have made in China. He just bust up and start laughing because he's honest. He's telling the truth.
He is telling the truth.
You know what I mean? It's made our life a lot easier. It's made things a lot cheaper. Like it made it so Americans could access more. You know, there was a time when computers were like out of everyone's reach when they first came out. Yeah. People were like, I only knew one person who had my cousin. He had a computer. We were like, wow, you're a rich kid. You know what I mean? This is silver spoons over here. We didn't know. We were talking about that later.
We had a computer.
I'm just talking crap. But what I'm saying is like most people didn't have no computers like computer. What the hell? We didn't even know how to use it. We just had a bunch of coding on the thing right there where it popped up. Remember green and green lettering and stuff like that? But but now they've made it so that people can have access to computer because everything they've been able to make everything so much cheaper.
Yo, shout out to my Uncle Ivy. He bought me and my cousins all computers because he wanted to
explain how you got the silver spoon. You go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, my Uncle Ivy bought all the kids, all the kids in the family computers.
All the kids in the family computers. Yeah. Jesus.
Uncle Ivy was an old school hustler, but he wanted us to be up with technology or whatever. Yeah, so
I'm talking crap. But being honest, this is the kind of stuff right here that it really shows us that us having China has helped us a great deal. And them having us has taken them to another level. The guy basically explained, he said, you know what? We took the money and we reinvested it back into our country and to our people. You guys took the money and gave it to the rich people. They don't be mad at us because you didn't take the money and reinvest it back into your people. And he's correct. He's right.
Yeah.
It's 110%. It's our fault that this happened this way. We could have taken the money because we
could have had manufacturing jobs here, but they pushed them over to China to make them cheaper. Think about it.
They
used to have call centers here in America where people had jobs and it took them and shifted them. That's why you get Indians all the time.
It doesn't. But those things like we need more service. We don't need those type of jobs are sometimes better for us to shift off. I don't want us to chase to the bottom for the
Bill Gates said we're going to go back. We're probably going to go to 2-day work days because AI and robots are going to take over the jobs within the next 10, 15 years.
I mean, it's very well plausible. That's why we got to start looking at different ways of doing things in our country. Things are going to change. Yeah. We're all sitting back trying to get a job that we're watching. I watched a robot do a backflip, flip over, run over here.
I'm thinking like,
what the hell?
I saw one do the Dougie. I said, oh, damn.
You know what I mean? You think the little bullet's going to end pretty soon? They're going to make them indestructible. You know what I mean? Like they got dogs right now that they'll send in with a bomb attached to it.
They wouldn't give the robots bullets. They would give them like sonic weapons. Remember like the one where the person hit the crowd with it and the crowd dispersed? That's what, boom, they'll hit you and it'll make you boo-boo yourself and fall on the ground. Because the robot don't smell boom.
They put a bomb on the dog. They'll give him a gun.
I've seen that, yeah.
Remember the dog that they sent into the guy?
It wasn't a dog, it was a robot to kill the black dude.
It was a robot, brother. They put a bomb on the robot and he went and killed somebody. Bomb, brother. Yeah. They think they won't give him a bullet? Especially they send him. I
think it was the first American to be killed with a robot bomb. They always do that. Black people don't know this.
They test out
Tulsa,
shit on us,
Tulsa,
man.
Oklahoma. this is a fun fact. We're going to end with this. Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first place that, I got you. Don't worry. Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first place in America ever dropped bombs. And they dropped it on their own
citizens. Our country.
Period.
Ever. They never
out of an airplane. It's the first time they ever dropped bombs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they took dynamite and the sheriff lit it because they couldn't get in the town. People were defending it. So the sheriff got on a plane, took dynamite, lit it, and dropped it on the town. It's the first time Americans ever dropped bombs on anybody, and it was their own
Remember
citizens.
the Black Panthers? They bombed them inside the city?
That was Jersey.
Yeah, I think that was like somewhere in East.
Philadelphia. Yeah, they bombed Philadelphia. Yeah, they bombed. They've done, and it's always us. You know what I'm saying? They do it too.
Ain't it? That's a shame, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I'm thinking the robots about to be carrying guns soon. Trust me, we're about to have RoboCops and all kinds of stuff out here in the streets. And first place they're going to be at, in a hood near you, or in a black community. Let's just call it that, near you.
And we'll be showing you as that. And don't forget to catch us every time we air. This is Uncommon Courtesy.